Hello horror movie lovers, I'm Trenton and I love movies just like you, obviously. So I watched The Conjuring 3 because didn't y'all summon me? Again? Again? No? Oh. Well, I don't know how we keep having this misunderstanding. Maybe y'all keep accidentally butt dialing me, but at this rate, your entire bloodline is gonna be dead within the next couple of weeks. So who's gonna die this time? My expectations were pretty neutral. I wasn't excited nor not excited. I'm just pretty burnt out on the Conjuring universe, but I was still optimistic that this movie would be good or at least entertaining. But did the movie meet my expectations? It's kind of hard to say because I didn't love the movie, but I also didn't hate the movie. It has some aspects that I did enjoy that makes me lean towards liking, but there's also aspects that I didn't enjoy that makes me lean more towards disliking. It's very much in the middle, so I don't know if I'd necessarily say that it didn't meet my expectations since they were only neutral going in.
So everyone's entitled to one good scare.
Arnie Cheyenne Johnson stabs and murders his landlord, claiming to be under demonic possession while Ed and Lorraine Warren investigate the case and try to prove his innocence. The first half of this video will be spoiler free, then the last half will contain spoilers. Don't worry, I will give you a warning before we enter spoiler territory. The characters were all fine for the most part. Ed and Lorraine Warren, the MVPs, I love them, we love them. They seriously carry all the Conjuring universe movies that they're main characters in. Arnie and Debbie were fine. I was invested in their story and didn't want anything bad to happen to either of them, especially since they were both so loving and sweet in general and towards each other. But I was more worried for Ed and Lorraine in their safety compared to Arnie and Debbie's. Everybody else was okay, nobody else really stood out, but I will say that I didn't really dislike anyone besides the characters the viewer was supposed to dislike. So that's a good thing. The story is different, which is appreciated. The Conjuring universe can get old really quickly, but it was different in the sense that we're following this case where a guy ends up possessed, committing a crime, and the Warrens have to try to prove that he was possessed to get a lesser sentence. I would be lying if I said I wasn't entertained throughout the movie. I thought the story was effective. I was completely on board, to be honest. I liked what they set out to do. Obviously, this is based on a true story or loosely based, and I didn't know anything about this case prior to watching this movie, so I was fully intrigued and wanted to know how the hell it would conclude. The writing, on the other hand, very predictable, very Conjuring universe, very simple, nothing complex or different. It was just very Conjuring universe. I will say that the cinematography in this movie was great. The movie is beautiful and gorgeous from a technical standpoint. I can confidently say that this is the most visually pleasing Conjuring universe movie so far. It's so beautiful. The lighting is beautiful. There's some pretty cool sequences and some beautiful shots. The movie is also very wide scale and isn't contained to one or a couple locations. There's a bunch of different locations throughout the movie that made the movie feel like an adventure or a scavenger hunt. Just a lot of traveling that I honestly enjoyed and found to be refreshing for the universe. The effects were fine for the most part. There wasn't really anything that stood out or surprised me in a positive way besides a couple cool set pieces. In terms of the practical effects, they looked solid, but in terms of the VFX, there are some moments that are so noticeable. In the moment, I didn't really find these moments to be too distracting because I was having a pretty good time, but when I look back on the movie after the fact, I'm honestly surprised that it didn't take me out of the moment because they looked kind of bad. This is a mainline Conjuring movie that is based on a true story, so you already know that going in, tonally, the movie wouldn't have the highest stakes. I don't even know if I'm going to explain myself in the spoiler section. I mean, if you've seen any of my previous videos that I've done on the Conjuring universe, you already know what I mean by that, so I'm not even going to repeat myself again because it's getting old. It's getting repetitive. The movie's around the same length as the previous movies at around an hour, 40-ish minutes, and I somewhat felt the runtime. I didn't think the movie felt like the slowest out of the universe, but there were a lot of lulls in the movie to the point where I was pretty bored, not gonna lie. The life lesson that I learned after watching The Conjuring 3 or The Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It was that every house harbors evil spirits and entities just live on the street at this point. Overall, I thought the movie was solid, not the best, but definitely not the worst. I'm gonna give The Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It a 6 out of 10. We are now entering spoiler territory. If you haven't seen What the fuck? We are now entering spoiler territory. If you haven't seen The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, watch it, then come back to the video, or if you simply don't care about spoilers, keep on watching. In this portion of the video, I break down the movie, go more in depth with my likes and dislikes, as well as my favorite scene, favorite kill, and least favorite kill. Again, we are now entering spoiler territory. In 1981, demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren document the exorcism of 8-year-old David Glatzel, attended by his family, his sister Debbie, her boyfriend Arnie Johnson, and father Gordon in Brookfield, Connecticut. In an attempt to save the little boy, Arnie invites the demon to enter his body instead of David's. Ed witnesses the demon enter Arnie just as he suffers a heart attack. The following month, Ed wakes up at the hospital and reveals to Lorraine that he witnessed the demon enter Arnie. After feeling unwell, Arnie murders his landlord by stabbing him 22 times. With the support of the Warrens, his case becomes the first American murder trial where demonic possession is claimed as a defense. The Warrens discover a satanic curse passed on through a witch's totem and meet with Kastner, a former priest who had dealt with the disciples of the Ram cult. He tells them that an occultist had intentionally left the totem, resulting in the creation of a curse on the Glatzels, causing David's possession. The Warrens traveled to Danvers, Massachusetts to investigate the death of Katie Lincoln, who was also stabbed 22 times. Detectives had found a totem at the home of Katie's friend Jessica, who was missing. Lorraine initiates a vision and discovers that Jessica had stabbed Katie while possessed before jumping to her death, which allows detectives to recover Jessica's body. In another vision, she witnesses the occultist attempting to make Arnie himself but stops her. Drew reveals that a book of Strigarian witchcraft states that for the curse to be lifted, the occultist altar must be destroyed. Ed is affected by the curse when a totem is discovered in flowers delivered to the Warrens' house, but is stopped by Drew. Kastner sadly reveals that he'd secretly raised a daughter, Isla, in violation of the requirement of clerical celibacy in the Catholic Church. As he researched the occult, Isla grew fascinated by it and became the occultist. He leads Lorraine into the tunnels underneath the house, where her altar is, but Isla kills her father. Ed is briefly bewitched by Isla and attempts to kill Lorraine, but she reminds him of their love. Ed regains his senses and destroys the altar, saving himself, Lorraine, and Arnie, who was also about to die. Isla is killed by the demon she'd summoned after failing to complete the curse. Ed places the cup from the altar in the Warrens' artifact room, along with the Valak painting and the Annabelle doll. Arnie is convicted of manslaughter and serves a sentence of 5 years, marrying Debbie while in prison. Then the movie ends. When it comes to the antagonist, I wasn't a fan of how unintimidating the entity itself was. Yeah, the powers that she has are intimidating, but her overall look isn't as scary or iconic as the other entities in the universe. Like I said earlier, the movie has its moments, but also has moments that you would expect from the Conjuring universe at this point. As much as I was entertained for a majority of the runtime and how different the movie felt compared to the other movies in the universe, it was still all very much underwhelming. Though I did find the opening of the movie to be quite effective and very strong. Other than that scene and a couple others sprinkled throughout the movie, majority of the more important scenes to progress the story weren't really doing anything for me. I wasn't a fan of the third act or ending. Again, it all felt underwhelming and started to go downhill after such a strong opening, then would rise back up, then go back down, then rise back up, then go back down, then rise back. The whole cliff scene was noticeably green screened. I was shocked at how noticeable it was. The scene in the forest was great and a great lead up to the cliff scene, but when Lorraine almost gets drug off the cliff, oh my god. The VFX team had to have had a deadline or something, because that somewhat took me out from a technical standpoint. From a narrative standpoint is really the only reason it didn't fully take me out, because I didn't want anything bad to happen to Lorraine. I mean, she almost died. If Ed wasn't there, that would have literally been a wrap. My favorite scene would have to be the Call Me scene. Arnie hallucinating, going in and out of his sanity while Blonde's Call Me is distorting in the background. His girlfriend and landlord trying to help him, but him being too far gone at that point. The glowing red light coming through the window. Chef's kiss. So anxiety inducing and chaotic. I loved it. My least favorite scene would have to be pretty much every scene where the main villain is shown. She just didn't look intimidating at all, and it was really throwing me off from how intimidating and powerful her powers actually were. I just wish they made her look scarier or more intimidating and not just like a fairly normal looking white woman. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos from me, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Alright, horror movie lovers, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.